Hello everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome to another session of Dragon Age Intervention. I am here once again with Lucky Jack 20, Reclusiarch, and Shali, although I don't see where Lucky Jack is right now. I'm not sure where he went.
He's hiding in the shadows like the rogue he is.
Like the rogue he is. Okay, so anyway, in our last episode, wow, jeez, I thought the session before was pretty intense, but last session our players didn't really make things any easier on us. So we're going to begin things like we always do with a warm-up question. We also have a guest character with us today. We will reveal him, and I guess he'll do his warm-up question when he appears, which will be very soon. So let's start with you guys' regular warm-up question. Gwenail/Ray, unfortunately, can't join us today. So hopefully he will be able to pick up with us again next session. All right, so the rest for you three, this is going to be a tough question. It's a bit of a psychological question. Sort of has a Walking Dead kind of feel to it. So you all found out that every single time, it's suspected that every single time Delwyn summons Jastiel, somebody gets infected with the pox. If you were counting your numbers correctly, that means somebody back at the ship is supposed to be infected.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, choose one person to save from the pox and one person to inflict the pox.
Oh.
And it has to be, it can't be like crewman number 3, like red shirt crewman number 3. It has to be a named...
They have to have a name.
It has to be a named NPC. You have to choose one to save and one to inflict.
Oh gosh.
And to explain why. And this is in character. This is not the player. This is in character.
What about party members? I would say Maximilian's off the table. Because that's a cop-out, considering he can't die from it.
I think...
I would
say keep it to NPCs. Keep it to NPCs.
Okay. That makes this really hard.
Yeah, it's meant to be harder.
I need actually look at my characters.
David was going to go give his response, so let's let David give his answer.
Okay, so I would save Jodie.
Yeah,
of course.
First
of all, she's Maximilian's love interest.
Yeah,
and she's a very capable mage, so she's a good asset to the team. I would inflict the pox on Archer. Of course, I don't really know much about the guy. I have no interaction with him. See him once, twice during breakfast, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yep.
I know, this is hard.
This is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if we included party members, the choice would be very obvious to my character in his mental state right now. But, since we can't do that, well, okay. Let's see. I would definitely save Jodie, because if I didn't, I would have my head on a pike.
Aww, that's very sweet.
Oh.
Well, it's self-preservation, too.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, if Jodie ended up with a pox, I'm pretty sure I would have a sword at my throat, so...
Yeah. Understandable. So then the big question is, who would you inflict it on if you were forced to?
That's the tough one.
Yeah. If it had to go to someone, and you had to pick...
If it had to go to someone... Oh gosh. Oh! Torture!
I know. I knew this was going to be a hard one. But Shally, if it makes you feel better, this is your character talking, not you. This is not you personally. So nobody give any hate to Shally. No hate to Shally.
Torture for him too. Oh gosh.
Shally, you monster.
It only reflects.
I mean, Delwyn.
It only reflects on Delwyn, not to you personally.
Oh gosh. Probably Archer.
Okay. Yeah.
Dolan gets along with everyone relatively well. I mean, if Nathan catches the pox, then Gwinnell's gonna have my head on a pike. And he's pretty good friends with Plim and definitely there's a thing with the captain going on.
I don't think and I don't see you giving it to Cogs.
The idea of leaving a crew without a captain would be bad, and Cogs is just too innocent in all this, and they need somebody to fly the ship.
Yeah, true. Makes sense. All right, how about you, Lucky Jack?
I thought I would give myself enough time to prepare for this, but it never seems like I got enough time to.
The timer, the Walking Dead's timer is ticking.
Oh gosh, the timer.
Oh god. I would want to save Maelstrom.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
She's the last connection I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who would take it then? Am I allowed to say am I allowed to say Vicious Vic, or is that kind of a cop?
He's already inflicted. It's somebody else.
I'm saying I know, but if I was asked, okay.
Yeah, he's already infected, so he's not in the running because there's somebody else that's infected too.
Yeah.
Oh, someone else got infected. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen again?
It happened when you guys were fighting the dragon. And
fighting the archdemon.
When you're fighting the archdemon.
Because you had to use that big old...
she jumped out, and then Gestiel emerged and caught her. That was when it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Crap.
Yeah.
And the reason why Vicious Vic, you believe, got infected is because she summoned Gestiel when she was falling down off of the bridge.
Very good. And he was nearby.
Just oh god. Yeah.
I could see... Honestly, I could see Archer as well, because he's out here and then...
He was on the ship. Yeah, he was on the ship when it happened, so he's not...
And now he's out here with us.
Now he's out here with you.
As far as dramatics, as far as drama or whatever would have it, I could see it happening. And it's a shame because I don't think he'd be able to visibly or be able to show it a lot without tongue. And
he can't talk.
So, nope.
Poor guy.
It's interesting.
He can
I know. I feel so bad for him. This begs the question, though. Does it happen every time he's summoned, or every time he's summoned to spare Delwyn's life? Because the rest of the party forced him to summon him.
I could see maybe...
ask all these questions.
Yes,
so,
I think
it
did. Part of it would, I would think it'd be every time you summon him, however much damage would have been, let's say you find yourself surrounded by a bunch of bandits or something and you summon him. Let's say if you had not summoned him, they were just going to beat you up to within an inch of your life. Not kill you, but just beat you up and mug you of your money. He would be able to
exchange?
Yeah, he would be able to say, okay, this is how much crap you would go through without me. I'll take that. So I don't think it always would kill someone.
Right.
Just it would deal enough to someone else. Maybe if he was to act as an alarm clock.
Well, if you remember the first time Delwyn summoned him in game was on the ship when he was trying to ask him the question. He was asking Jessiel the question, and then Radford got sick.
Crap.
Radford got sick.
Which is why I've been sitting here going, we summoned him asking him questions.
Yeah. Second time was when she summoned Gestiel to finish the blood pact. And then Liam got sick. Liam got sick. Yeah.
You guys should have listened to me. Just saying.
Shut up. We had a really cool moment.
Okay, good job, guys. That was really hard, and I think it's really awesome that the question at this point was hard to answer because it really showed how much you guys really care about the characters. Mm-hmm. So that's a testament to you all for embracing your group like they're one of your family, and it's hard to pick someone. So obviously you picked the handicapped one to kick around.
Ow.
Obviously.
Alexander will have all our heads.
Just watch Archer get a whole lot of character development in this episode.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Oh
I feel
no.
bad. Alexander's gonna hate us after this.
Alexander, if you're watching that, I didn't choose him. They did. Okay.
No, I mean, and as far as like if you're handing out like credit, a lot of it should also go to you for writing all the interactions and helping RP pretty much every NPC up to this point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you for more than half of the NPCs are yours, or were designed by you guys initially. So.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
You brought them to life.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, so when we last off, you guys were in the middle of the Frostback Mountains. I believe I have you right now on the page. Yeah. So you guys are now in the snow. You just found a campsite. Well, by campsite I mean a single tent and a roaring fire and a Mabari hound. And this elderly-looking man emerges with a crossbow and a giant axe at his side. Maximilian was able to speak to the man and convinced him that you guys don't mean any harm. Is it okay if they set up camp here? If you guys set up camp here? And he agreed, and that's where we left off. So, the three of you are welcome to roleplay, and my mystery guest, if he or she wants to do anything at any point, you can let me know. So, go right ahead.
Well,
I am taking a look at him. Am I recognizing any features of him?
You recognize the axe. That's the first thing you recognize, and if you recognize the axe, the size of the guy, he looks smaller than how you remembered him, but he's still
aging.
But he's still he's not frail by any means. Not frail at all. So
just older.
Just older.
Definitely like a lot of shock, and I don't know how exactly what I would say if I would say anything right now.
The Mabari. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He doesn't seem to have noticed me or taken any like.
No, I think you're still. Your head, like you said, is over your hood, under your hood. The Mabari is still growling at the group, and Balum calms him down. He says, "Sit, Alexander."
Well, I hope the hound won't give us any trouble if we share your fire.
Balum says, as long as you don't do anything funny, she should be all right with you.
Well then, you have nothing to fear. I've sheathed my sword, of course, and approached the fire.
I think I probably should have called her Alexandra. I'll call her Alexandra. She's a female.
Alexandra.
As a consolation to Alexandra if she's watching this. We'll name a character after her. So Alexandra is the Mabari hound, the Mabari warhound.
Cue applause.
Cue applause. All right, so you guys start pitching tent.
Yeah, Delwyn just mutters a very low thanks and goes and sits by the fire.
Okay.
Again, I was just silently walking away at that point, just over here.
We'll say you guys have a couple tents.
Hooray, tents!
Nice. I wish I was good at putting up tents. So
Balum is gonna warm himself by the fire. It looks like he's got a kettle on it right now. He's cooking something. He stirs the pot a little bit, and then he asks, "So, what brings you folks among these parts? I'm not used to seeing anyone besides Darkspawn around."
So you're from here then?
He says, "I'm not really from anywhere these days. Just go where the wind takes me."
I see.
Nobody really.
Well, we're looking.
At the end of the day, nobody really belongs anywhere. this Maker-forsaken place.
Oh, that's the truth. Well, we're looking for something. In Orgrimmar. Orgrimmar?
Orzammar.
No, Orzammar.
You're going to Orzammar, he says.
Yes.
He says, so you're going towards all the Darkspawn?
Yeah, pretty crazy. I know.
You all are either completely insane, very stupid, or there's something mighty valuable in there that you absolutely need. Which of the three?
All of them. Probably all of them.
I think we're more than capable to handle ourselves. And yes, it is very valuable.
He says, well, I'm not going to be the one to try to convince you to turn back. You all seem determined. At this point, Vicious Vic starts coughing, and Archer is right next to him. He coughs into... Archer hands him one of the washcloths that he has draped around his apron, and you can clearly see blood on the washcloth after Vicious Vic coughs into it.
When Delwyn hears the cough, he visibly flinches. It's like a constant reminder.
I'm stepping up at this point.
Vicious Vic will go into the tent, by the way, and
okay.
Archer will follow him inside.
I just walk, keeping my head low between Max and Delwyn. We should get rest and leave as soon as possible. We've no need to talk with the likes of him.
Whoa.
He has not killed us yet. That's a good sign.
A dwarven man, emerges from the tent. He's just wearing simple leather garb. He's got a nice beard, very pointed. His hair is he's a little dirty, but frazzled. He walks up to the fire and says, Balum, you didn't tell me we had guests. Headed to Orzammar, you say? That's an interesting journey. He sits down.
Balum turns towards you, and he has a ladle that he's just finished pouring some stew into a bowl. And he says, my apologies, friend, he says. I thought you were still napping. Did you rest well?
Well, as well as one can in these parts, after all.
He hands you a hot bowl of stew. It appears to be elk. The meat itself is rather stringy. Could use a little more salt. But hey, it'll at least nourish you well enough.
Much obliged. Thank you. You caught a big one, it looks like.
He says, there aren't very many of them around these parts. I was lucky.
Well, I think by your age, it's not relying on luck anymore. But these folk made it here. How by, I suppose, luck, perhaps?
Luck had nothing to do with it, dwarf. We're more than capable to take care of ourselves.
I meant no offense. You certainly look capable. Just not too hasty to make judgments around here. Have to check things carefully, you know.
I understand. My apologies.
Kine is my name. And you are?
I'm Maximilian.
Well met.
This here is my friend Lyledan, and over there is Delwyn.
He doesn't look up, he's just like...
I would probably at this point immediately kind of look up as if, almost like as if gesturing to Max, we should not have said that.
No, help yourselves to some food if you don't mind, I'll serve it to you. But, what brings you by these parts? And on the way to Orzammar, you said. Or did I hear wrong?
We're not staying long. We're simply going, finding something that should be ours, and then leaving.
Not much belongs to man and elf in Orzammar.
What was it we were looking for again? It was the...
Yeah, actually,
it's the volcanic aurum, I think. If I have my sheet correct.
We got the heart metal.
I believe
or
it's
star
volcanic
metal,
aurum, yeah.
Yeah.
Volcanic aurum,
It is. I did double check, but...
Yeah.
That's a metal, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We hear that Orzammar is filled with precious metal. We're looking for some.
Is that all you've heard about Orzammar?
Well, last thing I heard, it was overrun by golems. I'm not too sure about that, though.
Overrun would imply chaos and lack of control. Things are quite in order in Orzammar. Orzammar.
He said Orzammar, he didn't slip up. So don't think that, yeah, that wasn't in character. Go ahead.
I see. So you're saying these golems are disciplined and in control?
I probably shouldn't tell you too much about what's happening there. Not many outsiders are welcome, you know.
You sound as if you're familiar with what's going on there.
I hear things, of course. All us dwarves have some sort of resonance with Orzammar and what's the happenings there.
Interesting. What would it take for you to tell us what you know? Please, our quest is very important.
You wouldn't happen to have any salt, would you? He holds out his bowl.
Somebody get Archer. He might have some salt.
I'll get him. I'll get him.
You go inside the tent. Lyledan, right now Gwenail is tending to Vicious Vic, trying to get him comfortable like he always does. Archer looks very... Archer, he's been quiet this whole time, and obviously he's mute, so he's always quiet, but like...
Sure. He's more quiet.
He's more quiet as in he's upset. And he looks very distraught and looks helpless, and it looks like he wants to help, but doesn't. He feels defeated and like there's nothing he can do about it.
Archer.
He looks up to you with very sad, like puppy dog like eyes.
I was wondering if we could perhaps use a quick bit of assistance.
He looks back towards Vic, and then he looks towards you, and he nods.
First, how long until we can leave here?
Archer will... He'll look at you, make a motion like he's sleeping, and then he'll go, as if saying the next day, the next morning.
I was afraid of that, Ben. Right. Thank you. You wouldn't happen to have any seasonings of any sort on you, would you?
He tilts her head slightly as if not expecting you to say that next, and then he digs through his pack. He pulls out a satchel, basically, that contains some cooking supplies, and he hands you some seasoning.
Thank you. I'll bring this right back after I'm done with it.
He nods and then turns his attention back to Vic.
Walk back over. Rustling through, I get some. This salt will do.
Oh, looks splendid, splendid. Put it in the pot and share it with everyone, of course. Well, surprised you people had this on you out here. Not many people carry, herbs and spices out in the wilds.
Well, we have a cook with us. Very handy.
kneeling down, just adding them to the pot, keeping quiet to myself.
Balum, go ahead.
So, some seasoning, some salt. How about a good chat?
That sounds great. Let's take a few bites first, and let me muse on what people wandering the wilds happen to have a cook with them for. Not a usual caravan. I see no horses or wagons about.
Well, let's just say that a cook might be his secondary profession. He's a very good archer as well. And in these parts, we need all the expertise when it comes to weapons. Yeah. I mean, it's a dangerous place.
Aye, it is. Oh, this is mighty fine, mighty fine. Right. Delicious. Oh, you couldn't happen to seen that big flashing in the sky to the south, would you have? It made it quite a show, huh?
Big flash in the sky? Don't believe I have. What are you referring to?
It must have been just my imagination. You want to have a chat, didn't you? What do you want to know?
How did you all come to be out here?
Balum takes a swig from a flask. I was already out here, trying to survive, looking for meat. He found me, he says as he points towards Kine. Haven't seen him for a very long time.
Quite a fortuitous meeting, I would say.
I'm surprised, friend, that they haven't turned you into a golem yet.
None. They're not just turning everyone into golems. There's most of them.
That teaches me to not believe all of the rumors that I hear, Balum says.
Oh, that's true. Queen Blanca's got her eyes set on a very specific plan, and, well, it's going pretty well for her.
Branca's
what are you saying?
Go ahead.
Are you saying that dwarves are being turned into golems? That's absurd.
More absurd than two of your companions jumping off a ship onto an archdemon?
Well, you make a point.
You attacked the archdemon? Balum asks, surprised.
He attacked us first.
He started.
Yes.
Not many waterways around here. Or are you fighting off a ship?
Well, we happen to have it was flying a moment ago, but we had a crash land. That might have been the bright thing in the sky. Now when I think about it,
we
received some damage.
Wait, Balum says. Are you referring to the Skyrits?
Well, I believe that's what they call themselves.
I wouldn't...
That said, they are helping us on our quest right now.
Balum says, I'd be careful if I were you. I wouldn't necessarily spend a lot of time with the likes of them. They can't be trusted.
And what would you know about that?
Balum looks up and he's about to respond to you, but then he stops himself and then he tilts his head slightly, and the look on his face looks like he's starting to realize something, but he can't quite put his finger on it. Because of that, he's distracted from even answering your question.
What's that supposed to mean, Lee? I don't think we need more enemies right now.
It'd be a shame if I already had one then. Just kind of muttering that to myself.
Well, this is cheery. So, you sorted out yourselves with some flying pirates up in the air. Now you're headed to Arzamar, but your ship is broke. Is that about the case of it?
That about sums it up, yes.
Yeah.
So...
You look familiar. pointy ears over there. Have I seen you before?
I think that's you.
I don't know.
Not you. Someone like you, though. Interesting. So,
Wow.
what she said was true. Oh, I don't know what she'll think about this.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
It just remind me of someone is all. So,
Well,
spent some time with.
would you
Another
say
20 years, you all look the same.
Would you say you know your way around Orzammar, Master Dwarf?
I've spent a few years there, yes.
Would you be interested in going back?
Well, that's a loaded question, isn't it? As you know, just a bit, there's a lot going on.
I was curious, friend, Balum says, what you were doing in the surface in the first place.
I just had to go and take a look around, the lay of the land, that sort of thing. There's a lot happening outside the walls that we don't know about.
Balum seems satisfied by that answer, and he continues to devour his stew. At this point, Alexandra sits up in front of him, and he allows her to finish the remnants of his bowl. She laps it up.
Well, truth be told, we don't know much about Orzammar. We could use a guide.
Yeah, our companion's a little worse for wear, and I can't imagine he's been in Orzammar ever.
I seem to know this. Bad up your lad, huh? What's happened to him?
Yeah, he's sick.
Like coughing, runny nose, or sick, like...
Sick as in he will be dead in a few days.
We don't have much time.
Don't worry, it's not contagious.
Well, that's good. Why are you bringing him to Orzammar, then?
Let's just say that the sickness came very suddenly.
You want to put him into a golem body?
What could...
Well, I wouldn't say that's our first option.
Could it be done?
It's being done every day.
Well, we didn't really had that in mind, but if it might save him, sure. That's not our priority, however. We need to find that metal, whatever the cost.
Balum says, I thought you can only turn dwarves into golems.
That is the standard procedure, yes, but with a little innovation and a bit of squeezing and the right tools, well, could fit about anything.
Well, he's part dwarf, so I can't imagine that it's particularly picky about that.
Ah, Balum says. If you look at Vic, you wouldn't necessarily think he was a dwarf. You'd thought he was just a really short human. Not even Maximilian knew he was part dwarf. So it's an honest mistake for Balum to make.
Yeah.
You're looking for metal, there's lots. Orzammar, you're gonna have to be more specific.
It's... what was it called again?
Volcanic... I want to say
volcanic aurum. Volcanic aurum.
Aurum. I was going to say volcanic Olimar for some reason.
No, volcanic Olimar.
Aurum. I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds like something underground.
Kine, you know of deposits of volcanic aurum. However, the veins of volcanic aurum are deep in the deep roads.
It's a bit of a task to get some on your hands. What would you do with it?
Well, now, isn't that the right question? We need it for something that could save us all. And I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, you're fine.
After sometimes too.
Save us all from what?
Well, have you seen all the darkspawn running around? From them.
The archdemon, the blight, the rampant chaos, you know.
Everything could be different.
I know it's hard to take in, but it's the truth. We need your help.
A few pieces of ore and bits of metal will get rid us of the darkspawn. That is a lot to take in.
Let's just say that's not the only thing needed for this little ritual we're performing. We've been all over Ferelden, Thedas, to get certain substances and objects. This is the last thing we need, I believe.
Bottom line, you could help us save all of the world.
Saving the world, Balum says. Defeating the Darkspawn and the Blight. You were right, he turns to Delwyn. You really are crazy and stupid.
Yep.
Well then, if you don't want to help us, we'll manage on our own.
I didn't say I wouldn't help you. Just trying to figure out what you want help with, is all.
How about...
a guide.
Yeah, go ahead.
We need a guide to help us get through. Some of us were not familiar with the layout of Orzammar. Get in and get out.
Well, I think I could help you with that. Yes.
It's not like I'm sorry to say that. I mean, I like that you're helping us, but just out of the goodness of your heart.
Balum snorts when you say that as he drinks something from his mug.
Or is it that you actually believe our story?
Oh, it doesn't have to be either, does it? I'm headed there. It's nice to travel in a group. Cold night. That should be enough for now, I think.
I like this dwarf.
Wait till you get to know him better, Balum says, as he takes another swig.
No spoilers. Let them find out on their own.
Balum grins, and he strokes the top of Alexander's head.
I would probably tap at this point, tap Maximilian on the shoulder and signal that I need to talk to him in private.
If you'll excuse us, gentlemen.
Aye.
You guys go off. It's at this point that Alexander turns his attention to Kine. The hound starts panting. It looks like she wants something from you. Probably food. She's trying to make herself as cute and adorable as possible.
Walking Dead timers going down.
You're probably about halfway through your
Beautiful
meal.
boy. You can have the rest.
You allow the hound to have the rest, and she laps it up. And as soon as she's finished, she starts attempting to lick your face. Her breath feels very warm, especially against the winter chill of the outdoors.
No. That's all you're gonna get to eat tonight. I know it tastes delicious, but that's all there is.
So, Maximilian and Lyledan and Delwyn, you're just helping yourself to food at the fire.
Yeah, he's more or less just playing with it at this point.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, Lyledan and Maximilian, go ahead.
All right. What is this? Is this about Delwyn?
No, it's about those two over at the fire.
Yeah, I sensed some hostility. What's wrong?
Well, I know for a fact we can't trust one of them. The
What do
other
you
one's
mean?
still... Yeah, a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, the tension.
Dramatic
pause. While we're waiting for Lucky Jack, I wanted to officially welcome Dawnforge Cast, aka Andrew, into our campaign. I was talking to Andrew earlier about possibly having him come as a guest player to our session whenever one of the players can't make it. And I'm both excited and nervous having him here because he has a channel dedicated to teaching people how to be better DMs. So me being on the other side of the DM screen, so to speak, DMing for him right now, I can't help but feel a little out of my element. But it's good to have you here, Andrew.
Oh, it's quite enjoyable to be here, to be role-playing with you. We had only a teeny moment instead of our interview with just 2 characters.
Yeah.
But and learning Dragon Age and playing with all these other fine people, it's been something I've been looking forward to for a while. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
you.
having you here,
Yeah.
and it's
good
so.
to have you.
Yeah, so far I'm completely drawn in by your character, and I'm excited to see where things take us, where Kind takes us from here.
I hope I'm not making up things that aren't.
No.
Going off what we talked about as much as I could, but
everything you've been talking about is perfect.
It's all good. Yeah.
Okay,
It's all good. If I will stop you if you say something that I think is contradictory to something, but so far you've been spot on. Spot on good.
Really good.
So why don't I go ahead, Andrew?
He mentioned the accent. I just watched
Yeah.
a bunch of Gerard Butler clips, and that was good.
Nice.
Gotcha. So, Andrew, I wanted to give you a warm-up question as well, since I gave one to the other 3. You don't have to answer the other questions since you don't necessarily know the other NPCs very well. But what I do want to ask you is, I don't want you to give away too much information that you don't want to give away, obviously. But give us a little bit of a little background behind who Kind is, as much as you are willing to share. That you think might be interesting to the players, just to get a feel for him, but not necessarily revealing everything.
That is tough. There's a lot of interwoven elements.
Or maybe the better question to ask is, what was your angle? What was your motivation towards making this character and his personality, and just what are some of the things that concepts that you are using to bring him to life?
I'm definitely striving after being very likable and whimsical. Whimsical, or I was trying to combine them just there. That he's generally he's coming off as very friendly, but there's something he's not telling you, and that should be sort of pervading everything he says. That you like him, but there's a thing that makes you like, wait a second, kind of an element for him. I started off not knowing. We came up with his role when I asked, well, do you have any dwarves as PCs? And he said, no. And I'm like, all right, I'll play a dwarf. What don't you have? It's usually what I look for when I join something that's ongoing. And then came up with a few ideas. I really liked the creation process of Dragon Age. I thought it was really streamlined, really fluid. And getting him up to 7 was really... He came alive as I started doing the secondary focuses and got to really see that's where this goes and that goes. And so role playing him now, it's me trying to be likable, be helpful, and be intriguing.
Yeah.
Also hold back. How much does he say and how much does he not say? Kind of a thing. And I sent you a message on Facebook. I need you to answer it because it's important to.
I'll go double check that right now.
To his acting here. I'm acting on an assumption something has happened, and if it hasn't happened, then that'll change drastically.
While you're doing that, do you want me to? carry on the thing with Dave here then?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I know we can't trust one of them. The other I'm still not sure about.
What do you mean? And which one?
That man of the fire. Balum.
The man with the big axe?
That's the one.
Huh, let me guess. You've met him before.
Our paths have crossed. Times,
So
yes.
many coincidences. Huh.
His being here is... It still makes no sense, though.
I guess your last meeting was hostile?
Yes. Yes, it was. And something he did after.
Oh. Look, I know the mission must come first. If they're willing to help us, then we're stupid not to take their aid. Look, how about you keep a close eye on the guy with the axe? Just in case.
I can do that.
Good. You'll do fine.
For our sake, we outnumber them.
That's a mighty big axe, though.
We should make sure Delwyn's being alright in their company.
Delwyn. You keep an eye on the big guy with an axe, and I keep an eye on Delwyn. He does anything I don't like, well, that won't end well for him. But we need him. We need both of them. Right now.
And the dwarf, Kine.
Well, it seems friendly enough.
I just don't know. What he wants? We don't fully know what he wants in return for this yet.
Well, let's just hope he believes our story. The truth, that is.
Yes.
Just to clarify, so far Balum hasn't mentioned anything about going with you to Orzammar.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that. So.
Yeah. Just kind of. After that, my only concern is for Vic in transport. Archer says we probably have to stay until tomorrow at least before we can start moving again.
Well, there's not much we can do right now. The dwarf mentioned something about a golem. I don't know. Maybe that'll work.
All I'm saying is we should probably have a watch this night.
Alright. I'll go see if Archer is up for it, and we'll take turns.
Agreed.
Alright. We should all get some sleep.
Right.
Right. I go over here. End scene.
Okay. Maximilian, you go ahead and talk to Archer about watch. He will agree. At this point, Archer's just gonna say yes, whatever, to anything. He seems to be very indifferent right now. As you guys are starting to put the fire away, Balum is going to approach Lyledan. And he's basically putting out the fire, and he turns to you and says, "You don't look as old as you should be. That's what puzzles me."
I imagine you've already figured it out.
You seemed familiar. However, I didn't really think much of it since you look similar, but it doesn't make any sense. The years have been good to you.
And I can only imagine what they've been like for you. You know my feelings towards you right now. You should.
That was a long time ago, he says. That bounty was a bounty that I never acquired. And the person who sent it to me has been long gone for years.
And so, without a bounty, you decided to take it out on those I care about.
He pauses for a moment. You don't even know the first thing about me, he says.
I know what you did there. I know the look in your eyes when you sat there and condemned them.
Well, you got what you want, he says. The world has been doomed because of you. How do you respond to that?
I do not appreciate patronizing from the likes of you.
And I don't appreciate you rubbing it in my face, he says. I was sent to get rid of you in order to keep the world from turning upside down, and it did. I'm just sorry I wasn't able to get to you first before it happened.
That's why you were sent to... Who contracted you to do that?
I never caught her full name. Didn't matter. Normally I don't ask questions. She came to me. She said she had a very special job, an important one. The person that I was supposed to look for was very dangerous to the well-being of Thetis. If I didn't get to you in time and stopped you, then all would be lost. And I guess you can see what happened. All is lost now, thanks to you.
I assure you, I had no intentions for causing this.
That's not for me to decide.
And it's not for me to decide the intentions of she who contracted you.
Why do you wish to know? Are you going to go hunt her down? I haven't even been able to find her. I suppose she gave up on me as soon as she decided that I had failed.
I just know at this point that someone out there, years ago, someone knew all this was going to happen. And I would like to know how.
It's a very good question. I only saw her once, that one time, and she was willing to give me the money up front. I didn't feel right keeping the money, but I was never able to find her. I never succeeded in my bounty. It was only fitting. A lot of questions are going through the players' minds right now.
Mm-hmm.
For some who know the Dragon Age universe of who she is and whatever, for me, it was also just. I think I know maybe who he's talking about, because I think we got a glimpse of her at some point, but
perhaps.
I have no idea. So
I
will know Lee's the bad guy and he needs to die.
I'm still thinking that it's still possible.
You claim that you are here. You claim that you are here to save Thetis. After what you did, suddenly feeling guilty?
Wanting things to be made right again.
He turns to you and says, then don't blame me for doing what I felt needed to be done in order to complete my mission to save Thetis. You want to brand me as a villain? Go right ahead.
My parents did nothing.
I did not come to them. They came to me. I was going to deny them. I was going to deny them when they asked me to help them.
They placed their trust in you.
They were desperate, and I thought that at the very least I could do was, since I was looking for you anyway, was to at least reunite you before I had to do what must be done. It wasn't my fault that we were attacked. It was either them or all of us. If I did not continue on with my quest, all of this would have happened. And it happened anyway. Do you think I was able to sleep well at night after that? They died because of something that I did, and their deaths were meaningless when I wasn't able to finish what I started. How do you think that made me feel?
And it was you who made their graves, I imagine.
You were there then.
We just came from over there, yes.
I'm not saying that I am proud for everything I've done in my life. It happened a long time ago, Kanari. I came to terms with it, but that doesn't mean that I forever forgot. Which is why I'm out here, paying my penance best as I can. Seems like you're trying to make amends as well. So don't brand me a cold-blooded killer, Kanari.
I'd be done then. Right. I would just get up silently and walk away.